Shitcase Cinema. On the Shitcase Cinema. Oh, it's the Shitcase Cinema.
They're back again. Now you may think that's me being somewhat sarcastic, but no, look at the tagline. Now I'm sure they knew they were milking the cow with this movie, and most people openly say it's pretty bad. So bad that about 2 years ago I said,
I mean, I could go on and on and on reviewing this shit movie, but it'd drive me to suicide, and I've got better things to do.
but when something's pretty shit, I have to do battle with it.
Oh no, not again.
See, even the actors can't take it. Now as a very quick run through of the series, just in case you're not familiar with it, Poltergeist 1 centred on Carol Ann and her family in their haunted house, and many consider this to be not only the best of the trilogy, but also a classic in the supernatural and horror genre. Poltergeist 2 again focuses on Carol Ann and her family and their haunted house, and the somewhat demonic perverted reverend called Henry Caine. But not a bad sequel overall. Then, predictably, Poltergeist 3 centres on Carol Ann and nobody else in a tall modern skyscraper. Well, at least he tried to be different. So the story of Poltergeist 3 is pretty weak to say the least. Carol Ann is living in Chicago with her Aunt Pat, played by Nancy Allen, and Bruce, played by the legendary Tom Skerritt. Now to give you a taste on some of the movie's apparent scares and boo moments, here's some of the early shocks. Number 1, the window cleaner suddenly has white hair and he looks depressed. Number 2, Nancy Allen enters the room. Number 3, an elevator door cracks which you can barely even see. Number 4, ice on the heating system. Now that is terrifying. Now after these monumental, groundbreaking, shit yourself edge of the seat scares, I'm betting that most people daren't even continue to watch anymore in case they die of fright. Or die of boredom, whichever comes first I guess. Strangely enough, I've always found Poltergeist 3 entertaining to watch on the whole. The characters are mostly likeable and the dialogue is pathetically lame and laughable, so it keeps you watching just to see if it gets any worse. Which it usually does. So that's great. So Henry Caine is back from Poltergeist 2, but hang on a minute, he looks completely different. Now Julian Beck died after filming his role in Poltergeist 2, so they can't exactly dig his corpse up and use him again, but at least pick a guy who looks like him and sounds like him. And another thing I want to moan about on Henry Caine are his lines. How many times does he appear and mention either the name Carol Ann or the phrase "lead us into the light"?
Come to me, Caroline. We need you. Caroline. Caroline. We need you, Caroline. Lead us into the light.
My tip comes in the form of the Shitcase Challenge. Watch this movie with some beers, and each time you hear those classic words come out of Henry's mouth, you take a drink, and before you know it, you'll be well caned. Now most of the creepy poltergeist activities are done in the many mirrors in the film. It's like the entire building is made up entirely of mirrors. I mean, what kind of vain person came up with that? Yet some of the visuals in this are really cleverly done with the mirrors, and it's a definite highlight of the movie. So anyway, Carol Ann is a student at this wacky school for what we're meant to believe are special kids.
Boo! Seen any ghosts lately? Roar!
Jesus Christ, another boo moment there. That's taken about 5 years off my life. Is anyone out there still watching? Because this is terrifying. So her tutor is a complete dick called Dr. Seaton, who is quite possibly the funniest guy on this planet with his ridiculous theories with regards to Carol Ann's troubles.
Apparently, she actually convinced an entire neighborhood that it was haunted.
Yes, Seaton, because she can hypnotise an entire house and make it vanish into thin air.
It's more like mass hypnosis.
Oh, Seaton.
She actually might be capable of inducing mass hypnosis.
Legend. Now every time he appears, he just downplays everything he sees, which for me makes him the star of the film for being a goon.
A little demonstration in mass hypnosis.
Tangina is back again.
Oh no, not again.
And her part in this is without a doubt the most irrelevant role in a movie ever. She talks bollocks while stroking a stupid necklace which apparently gives her powers. I mean, in the first movie she was a psychic who specialised in hauntings, yet here she's transformed into a magic munchkin with powers and she happens to know everything in the universe. What? See, this scene, she can tell that Caine is disguised as Carol Ann. Gee, what gave it away? But here, Caine is walking around in the mirrors dressed as Carol Ann. You see, I told you he was perverted. And Tangina can't tell the difference. So she stands there while Caine turns her into a human-looking shaped piece of charcoal. And then Tom Skerritt, for no reason, grabs her corpse and throws it onto the floor, and then out crawls his daughter, whose incessant screaming seriously makes you turn down the volume on the TV. It's bizarre. Now, me and my school friends years ago used to quote this scene all the time and reenact it, much to the puzzlement of the other kids. But hey, when something's this amusing, you've got to do it. And we still actually do it to this day.
Tangina! 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 Tangina!
It's also funny listening to this in different languages on the DVD. I almost pissed myself at one version.
Caroline, vieni qui! No! Tangina!
Now, there's typically a bunch of one-dimensional characters in here who serve no purpose whatsoever, and that's why this film is shit. They just drag the film on and on. Seriously, if you could take out all the filler crap, then the running time will probably run into about 5 minutes. Now here Tom gets a few scares when he and Nancy Allen are suddenly trapped in a giant freezer and all the frozen animals all wobble around and they almost drown, but then Tangina floats to the surface from nowhere and gives them her necklace. But if that wasn't bullshit enough for you, they then appear immediately in a frozen car park and Henry Caine is driving around like a coked up retard with nothing better to do, and then everywhere blows up, and this is so bizarre. I kind of wonder if the making of Poltergeist 3 has any relation to drug problems that all the cast and crew no doubt had. Tom gets further shocked though when this goon jumps out of the ice and runs at him like a frozen humanoid chicken, and then oops, he ran into the glass wall. See, this film is pure comedy gold, I swear. Now after a while Tom is getting pissed off at this movie's attempts to ruin his career, so he takes his anger out on the building's windows with a spade, which growl when hit. Now the ending is one of the most anticlimactic pieces you'll ever see. As Nancy chops off the head of Henry Caine's lifelike shop window dummy, he returns laughing to himself, but wait, Tangina walks into shot and I thought she would turn into a giant piece of flame grilled shit, and then she was drowning in some mucky water, so what's going on?
I have the knowledge and the power.
Oh god, that's Oscar worthy. That's her lame impression of He-Man. Yet another fucking classic I keep avoiding. So she walks into the mirror with Caine, which explains nothing whatsoever, and everyone then appears in the room together except Scott, you know, the goon who jumped out of the ice frozen. He's just suddenly vanished into the middle of nowhere, but we don't care. And it's a happy ending. Kind of. Now, Poltergeist 3 was completed after Heather O'Rourke suddenly died, so naturally they had to alter the ending, and I think it's pretty obvious that this damaged the movie a lot, and the final shot makes you rather sad knowing that she died, and that isn't actually Heather O'Rourke there. Now, if you ask me, the best part of the film is the music at the end, so what does that tell you? Now, despite saying all this, the Poltergeist trilogy remains a firm personal favourite of mine. So I'm going to give this 4 out of 10 because it is hilarious at times, and holy shit, look, you get 2 Tom Skerritts on screen for the price of 1.
It's a suggestion, Mr. Gardner. A post-hypnotic suggestion.
Caroline, vieni qui! No! Tangina!